Hi, so this is my week 5 monologue for WT4028. So I've just been doing a bit of research and investigation and come across this definition for teak. So teak is Tectona grandis. It's a tropical hardwood tree. It's from, or you can get Burmese teak, Central Province teak, as well as Nagpur teak. So my teak is that I've sourced is from Burma, so it's Burmese teak. Tectona grandis is a large deciduous tree that occurs in mixed hardwood forests. The teak wood is particularly valued for its durability and water resistance. So next slide is just my history of my sourced material. So here it is in Burma, teak tree in Burma, South Asia. So it's around 1980. So the tree was felled and shipped to Dublin port. The log was transported to the Munster Joinery Factory in Ballydesmond. Tree was rough sawn to boards. Wood boards were seasoned in Munster Joinery's own kilns, removing excessive water. The board was cut to size and shape, and coats of polyurethane were applied to the countertop surface. It was fitted as a counter in O'Dwyer's the Villa in Waterville, County Kerry, and many pints and a lot of money passed over it in 30 years. So it spent 30 years as a bar counter. Pub was refurbished and the counter was removed. Stored by a local carpenter for 3 years in his garage, and carpenter gave it to me. So here in the middle here, you can see that's what it looked like before. That's it after it's been processed. That's another part of the counter, and that's what I got from that after processing. So for next week and this week and next week, I've been focusing on my discovery. So to understand the problem. So we've got analysis, research, and investigation. So I started some research and I found some documents from the HSE on loneliness and how that's a big issue in terms of it being a health hazard. So you've got your social issue there of health and well-being. I'll talk more about them in next week's monologue. You've got 2 slides from the HSE, and then I've got another document here talking about loneliness as well. So just going to my problem statement. Slightly changed. So I was looking at a table. Now I'm looking at just a chessboard that can rest on a table or on the user's lap. So going into the lab on Wednesday, this was my design idea here on the right side. It was a chessboard on a table, a 3-legged table with supports running along the ground. The chessboard opened up so that you had storage underneath, and there was space to the left side of the chessboard for a coffee cup or a table lamp or something like that. So that's my feedback here on the left side. Some good feedback from up here. Gave me some points to think about, which led to my refined ideas. So here's the aspect of the feedback addressed here on the right side. So he was saying, my peer was saying that, elderly, they might be in a wheelchair. The supports on the ground might be difficult to pull the wheelchair in underneath the chair or underneath the table. So just make it 3 legs, and that it should be strong enough support or stable enough to support the table. Another point my peer made was removing the excessive space here on the left side. So get rid of the hinges and the space for the coffee cup and the table lamp, and just have a 3-legged table with just a chessboard. So that gave me a few points to think about, and I was thinking, along with the advice from Keelan in the week 4 feedback, does it need to be a table? So I was thinking, what if it was just something that could rest on a table or rest on the user's lap if they didn't have a table? So I came up with this idea. So a simple curved section here on the left side with the shape of the user's legs in mind. CNC'd chessboard, so an inlay, bit of marquetry, and then a handle for easy mobility or moving the chessboard around. So if you wanted to carry it to your friend's house or whatnot. So realization. So a range of processes where a CNC could do an inlay with veneers, marquetry. The other option would be parquetry. There's joint work, so dovetail joint, finger joint were the ones I looked at in detail, and then you've got finishing. So the range of material required would be the old teak bar counter, veneer, so you need contrasting colors, so light and dark veneers, a handle, and an angle bracket. So I have this assembly here. This would be the top section with the CNC'd piece recessed about 1 mm just for the veneers. You'd have veneers of contrasting colors. This sits onto this kind of panel with the shape of the legs cut out, and that's held by an angle bracket here. And then I just looked at different joints possible for this, so a finger joint or a dovetail joint. And then I've got a handle that sits on the side panel here. So what are the sizes of material required? So my upcycled material is teak. The sizes are here on the top left. And then I've got four different components. So I have the chessboard top. I have the piece resting on the user's lap by 2. The side panels by 2, and then just the veneers of contrasting color. So how am I going to make a potential process? So strips of contrasting veneers, and you can do marquetry and create your chessboard. You could also use plastic and the laser cutter to etch the design onto the plastic board. I looked at different joints, so a finger joint, a dovetail joint. I could do the recess for the veneer inlay, either on the CNC or with a router. I could upcycle a handle for the side panel to carry the chessboard, or I could create a handle using formers and laminates to make a curved handle for the side of the chessboard. Just for sticking the board onto the frame, I could use an angle bracket, or I could use a dowel joint. Moving on, what material options do I have to make it? So the chessboard, like I said there, you can use veneers, or I could paint the different square colors onto the teak, or I could etch it onto plastic using the laser cutter. The handle, like I said there, former and laminates to create a new handle, or I can upcycle an old handle. And the frame is, I have a few different options. So I have an old door which is teak, I have an old door which is pine, an unused bed frame which is pine, upcycle table, and an old bar counter. So I'm going with the old bar counter, which is teak. And that's just a little technical drawing of my design idea. It's not final yet. So I just looked at veneering and inlay, and researched it in the book, and found another book with the same information on it. Just moving along then, researched some woodwork joints. So I looked at T-halving, bridle joint, dovetail joint, Marston tenant, finger joint, lap dovetail, and a housing joint, haunch mortise and tenon, double or twin mortise and tenon, dovetail halving, miter joint, and then just the stress forces on each joint. So torsion, tension, horizontal shear, vertical shear, and compression. So I'd be looking at a dovetail joint. It's a nice, attractive, strong joint, highly decorative. So I'd either be looking at a dovetail or a lap dovetail for this project. So just moving on then, what I need to do. So I need to further research and investigate into my artifact, come up with a final design, and begin the processing stage of this artifact. That's it for this week. Thanks.